So I don't want to offend anyone here, but you might be doing your writing goals wrong. You are doing writing goals, right? We got to start with that. Hopefully you're doing them already. But I do think there are some common misconceptions and some wrong-headed approaches that if you do them, you're going to end up sabotaging your writing rather than actually having like the...
Is his shirt wet? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I have the same type of shirt as that, where in the, like, it literally, it's, you know, it's also on the shoulders. Like, if you look on the tops of the shoulders and, like, the bottoms of his arms, I think it's just, it's either a shadow or it's the way the fabric is. But I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure I have a shirt that's like that. It does the same thing. It's just the way the fabric is like facing has like a different sheen to it.
Most amazing banner year ever. Because I really do think that the next year can be your best writing year ever. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you 9 mistakes that a lot of writers often fall into, and then I'm gonna tell you what you can do instead to help ensure you have a great writing year. The first mistake that I see a lot of writers make is they end up setting big...
Oh, here we go. Setting big project goals.
Project goals. Now, what is a big project goal? A big project goal just says like, this year, I'm going to write a whole novel. It's a little bit like the title of Walter Mosley's craft book for writers. This year, you will write your novel. I'll actually put a link to that below if you want to check it out. But here's the problem with that goal. I think if you make that goal, you are more likely than not to fail, to not write the novel. Because you're gonna hit October or November or next year and suddenly wake up and be like, oh man, remember I had that goal to write my novel? I never really did it. Bummer, man. And this is just due to human psychology. It's really hard to just decide like, I'm gonna do this big gigantic goal, but you don't know what to do. What are the first steps? Like, what are the steps to get there? So instead of that gigantic goal, instead concentrate on the daily goals. What are you gonna do today? What are you gonna do tomorrow? Instead, just focus on the little baby steps. How many words are you gonna write today? How many words are you gonna write tomorrow? If you make tiny little goals like that, then you can fail for one day and it's no big deal, right? You can just make it up the next day. And hitting enough of those little baby goals along the way are gonna get you to completing the big goal. The second mistake that I see a lot of writers make when they're doing writing goals is that they use pure number.
Use pure numbers. I'm gonna write 200,000 words. And it's gonna be 400 pages. It's gonna be fucking amazing.
Now, it's not bad to be like, every single day I want to write 2,000 words. Actually, 2,000 words is a bit much. If you can actually pull off 2,000 words a day, like, kudos to you. That is pretty epic for the long term, right? I mean, you can do 2,000 words for like a week, but like for 2 months, it is.
I mean, when we do get the chance to write on stream, 2,000 words isn't that much. It used to be. But now it's actually not that much. Like, that could easily just be 3 scenes. Oh, that could even be maybe 2 scenes, depending on the length of the scenes. And like 2 scenes about a day, 2 to 3 scenes is probably about our goal. But, you know, we've been a little out of whack with that lately.
Incredibly difficult. But my point is, creativity is not linear. Like, sometimes you need to take a day and do a little bit of revision, in which case, like, how do you measure minus 1,000 words? Like, that doesn't seem like progress, but it is progress. And sometimes if you're writing a really pivotal scene, yeah, maybe it's only 3,000 words, but it's so important to get it just right. And maybe you write it and then delete it and then write it and then delete it. Okay, but the goal is to get an actually great scene. That's the goal. And that goal might take 4 hours or it might take a week. So if word counts aren't working for you as a motivation, it might be better to do something like hours. Like, I devote 1 hour of time a day to write on my project. Sometimes you get 0 words in that hour. And then sometimes you get 3,000 words in that hour. I mean, it just depends how that hour goes, but you are sitting in the seat, putting in the time, and something good will happen. And if you want a little bit more advice about how to use numbers as like a motivational technique in your writing habits, check out my course, Master Your Writing Time. It's in the Bookfox Academy. It's a little pro tip right there. Third mistake that writers make when making goals is they forget about their
invisible work. Okay. Okay, I'll bite.
Visible work. So I know that you need to brainstorm ideas for your novel. But it's not easy to feel like that's part of the writing process or to feel like you've accomplished something when you do that. For instance, if you go walking, it doesn't seem like that's writing time. Like it doesn't feel like you're being productive.
I am always being productive in my head. I'm at work, I'm walking, I'm just chilling. I am always thinking about this shit. It never turns off. That's how I literally created an entire character profile and basically set up the entire story for the next short story, which I'm not even a third of the way done writing the rough draft of Chiral Clones, and I'm like, I already want to write this fucking story. This Ghost Mentor story is going to be fucking amazing.
But maybe a walk is just what you need in order to like free up the mind space to be able to come up with great ideas for your book. Another goal would be research time. Not a lot of authors, when they're setting their writing goals for the year, say, I want to spend 30 hours researching the world of my novel. But a lot of the time, that research time is essential to your book, especially if you're writing a historical book or a sci-fi book.
Sup, bitches? Nightmare Slays! Welcome, good sir! How are you? We are talking about goals today. It's a good old time. But how is your day, good sir? Have you written anything?
Where there's a lot of science. Character development often can feel unproductive because you're not actually getting words down on the page. Same thing for plotting sessions. Still, all of these things...
The idea of how to maintain goals, keep your goals, and just in general planning strategy and stuff like that. It's something that I base everything off of outlines and goals, but I always deviate, but I have an idea. I like to know where I'm going, I just don't like to know how I'm going to get there. Planning to create some videos for our socials today. I mean, that's what I do every day, Nightmare. The same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try to take over the world. Big news, Nightmare! What's up?
Are sort of invisible things that contribute to fulfilling your ultimate goal. So you should count them as goals in the whole writing process. Another example would be just studying the craft of fiction. Part of your writing goals should be, I'm going to read 5 craft books this upcoming year. Now, I will say that it's easy to get caught in a downward spiral and devote
a few thousand words away from 100k now. Fuck yeah, Beezus. That's what it's all about. 100k is huge. Yeah, man. Beezus is a fucking machine. Man, it's insane.
All of your time to character development and researching and stuff and not actually write any of the book. So make sure you don't fall into that trap either. But in general, I think it's a good idea to count any time that you're spending on developing the novel, whether it's plotting or character development or whatever, as part of the goal that you're trying to accomplish. The fourth thing that some writers forget when they're making goals is focusing only
on writing goals. Yeah. That's why I try to do other stuff, because you're going to get stuck if you're not always looking in different directions, letting things fade to the back of your mind, and then picking them up later, and basically letting them cook and gestate in the back of your fucking head. Because you want the ideas to be layered. You don't want them to be just that instant idea, right? You need that instant idea, and then you need to cook that instant idea.
On writing goals. I think too many writers focus only on the object of getting that book out and not all the supporting stuff that contributes to that. So I'm talking about
marketing.
Stuff like having a goal to join a writing group this upcoming year. Maybe have a goal to start up a book club or join someone else.
Good morning, Eddie in the mix. How's it going? Yo, 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 yo. That's another thing that we could do, guys. Is we could try to make like an online book club that meets like in Discord at like a certain amount, and we like rotate through people like reading a book, and we could like vote on picking a book, you know, meet once a week. Another idea to add to the table, guys. if we can't join them, we make our own. That's the way I've always looked at it. If I can't find a place to join, I just have to create my own place and gather people there.
Else's book club. You could have a goal to sign up for a conference or a retreat. You could have a goal to take some online writing courses, like Bookfox Academy, just saying.
Like I said, guys, I actually plan to take some of his courses, see what they're like, and do like a review video kind of them. Have you published anything? Self-published on Kindle, yes. We technically have 4 books. The one I'm most proud of, Shadows of the Soul, which didn't sell anything. Cryogen, which is our longest short story ever at like 12,000 words. Because Nightmare, this guy, Bookfox, has basically been here for like the last 6 months progressing my writing. So I'm actually like, I want to support him by taking the courses. So that's like one of the aspects of it. That's like the main reason why I would do it. Because I fucking hate spending money. I don't fucking spend money. But I'm like, it's going amazing. Oh, I haven't done it yet, Nightmare. I haven't tried. But I'm saying I want to in the future. It's only like $30 a month or something like that for like an unlimited amount of courses. See, but I'd have to... This has to be after September when I've taken my days off, like months off. So I'm off work, so I have the time to actually sit down and make use of the time, right? And then we have... This is the first one we published. It's just a bunch of like Viking stories. These were the most popular stories on the YouTube. Because apparently people like Vikings. And then this is the one that actually sold. Do review it. Let's see if you're able to sell me, too. That's the thing, Nightmare. Maybe I can. Right? Because you got to think about it. This is the way I think about it. He's a professor. He's an editor. And he's a writer. And he's been doing it for probably 30 years. And he knows people. So, having that as a reference point and knowing that the content on the YouTube that I have enjoyed and has made me improve is only the tip of the iceberg. He's teasing you with the YouTube stuff. The stuff that's actually, like, most likely in the courses. Like, I wouldn't normally trust anyone, but he's like an actual professor, right? So he's an OG in the industry. Yeah, would surely follow him. Exactly. And that's the only reason. He's not actually just some random YouTuber. He is a fully published, and he even wrote his own craft book. That's not the one that he wrote. I was wondering if he would link his book in here. But yeah. So it's like he has a lot of other credentials. He's not a YouTuber. He just does YouTube. Right? Like I'm a writer that does YouTube. I'm a writer that does Twitch, right?
You could have a goal.
I'm not a streamer that writes. There's a distinction.
Applying for a writing grant. You could also have a goal where you figure out what's holding you back from...
Dude, apply for a writing grant. Oh, hell yeah, Nightmare. There you go. Gamble it up. Oh, Beezus, please, not again, sir. Not again, Beezus. No, don't make me watch. I can't watch again.
Writing and saying, okay, I'm going to take a break from video games or social media or watching too much Netflix or whatever it is so I can devote more time to actually getting the writing done that I want to do. And don't forget that you can have some goals that sound unusual, that sound very unwriting related. I've seen other writers where...
Well, my goal would be to create a community of people to come together to create ideas and exchange perspectives, and people that I trust their opinions when it comes to what they would assume my direction for the book is, right? Because that's kind of one of my biggest problems with AI, is I know AI doesn't have a vision. Like, it can't see my vision of what the book is, no matter how much I try to describe it to it. Whereas I feel that, like, you guys can see the vision of, like, my stories, of the Final Fantasy novel itself, right? Like, there's enough, like, relative fantasy genre tropes and, like, situations that I feel like it's something that's easy to follow. There's a lot, but it's easy to follow. Does that make sense? And, like, sharing that with people and saying, oh, this doesn't, you know, how does, when I say this to someone, what do they say back to me? Does that resonate? Does the direction that they took it better than the one that I have, right?
Part of their writing goals were hire a babysitter, because with small children, they literally did not have enough time to write, and they would hire a babysitter so they could go to a coffee shop and pound out some words. I've also seen some goals where it's just designed to help writers get courageous. For instance, aiming for 100 rejections in a year. If you send out 100 submissions, well, you're gonna have a shot to get some acceptances as well. You could also have some oddball goals, like you want to create a soundtrack for your character in order to get to know them better, or to create a soundtrack that you listen to during the writing process that really gets you in the mood. You can
Damn it, Beezus! Don't do it! Don't do it, Beezus!
Like, you want to join an improv class because you want to get better at dialogue, and thinking on the fly in an improv class will really help with that. My point is, don't think of your writing goals so narrowly, right? As being only about writing. Think very expansively. Like, how do you want to construct your life in a way that will allow you to write your book this year? The fifth mistake that some writers make is making inflexible timelines.
True. Making inflexible timeline commitments. Guys, the only commitment I have is I will have Toke with me. Smokey! Let's go, bro! How are you, good sir? Where have you been, man? I do not want to make a YouTube channel, but I'm starting to think it's going to be a good idea to draw in readers, doing what I told you to do with YouTube shorts about my story. Jesus Christ, Beezus, I swear to God, if you go to 1 million again, Okay, Smokey, are you ready? Cause I'm ready, bro. Good morning, Deja. How's it going? 3, 2, 1, 22, 27, 38, 9, 4, 1, 17. Go! Morning. There we go, Smokey. How was that? We're gonna have an ad coming up in a second here, but it is what it is, right? All right.
Commitments. It's often not a super helpful goal to say, I'm gonna finish.
I have no idea what time it is there. It's 2 a.m. for me. I'm guessing it's like...
Thank you for redeeming chair dance. Hitox will now dance for you. Please fully enjoy this immersive...
Ah, Beezus! Beezus, why? It's 9 a.m. here? Damn, bro.
Keep dancing, bitch, it ain't over yet. You did good, you can rest now, babe.
Oi! 12 p.m. Nice.
My book by June. I'm not sure why you would have an accent while saying that, but, you know, whatever.
I can hold my bong toke for like 1 minute now. Damn, Smokey, that's insane.
I think a timeline like this, it could help you if it motivates you, but I think a lot of the time that you don't make it, you feel like an absolute loser and it sort of peters out and you just lose focus on the book. I think setting a timeline ignores the fact that sometimes you come up with a new character or a new plot twist or the story evolves into something bigger than you expected it to be. Once again, rather than setting goals that focus on some far off point in the future, like I'm gonna finish this in 6 months, focus on today. Focus on tomorrow. Make daily goals, small, tiny, little daily goals that you can accomplish and feel good about. And if you complete enough of those daily goals, the big thing will happen. A 6 mistake some writers make when doing their goals is they copy other writers' methods blindly. You know, one of the most common questions that writers get when they're out at some event, someone in the audience.
Do you think that the marketing surrounding a book is a decisive factor in its success and in getting more people to read it? Unfortunately, Deja, yes. It is probably the most important thing. Look at how many books out there are absolute shit. Yeah, the biggest thing is, look at how many books out there that are absolute trash, garbage, bullshit, but they blew up because of marketing. Because, we're going to go back to the topic we were talking about earlier, the inauthenticity of things. People believe that because a lot of people know of it, that it's good. People think popularity equals quality, which is fucking retarded, but it sells. You don't need a big publisher as long as you can do the basic stuff yourself. And remember, guys, you should be marketing your book now. You should be pitching your synopsis, your theme, your characters, your world. Make people aware of it now. Build up the hype for it. Even if it takes 10 years. Maybe one day you message up that person and you'd be like, hey, I wrote a book. Here you go. And they're like, ah, what? Right? Market yourself. Book will sell itself. Yeah. I literally market myself at Walmart. And I just tell the customers that I'm a writer. And they're like, oh, you're a writer? Oh, really? And then I'm like, okay, so this is the plot. A soul is reincarnated over and over. The soul finds itself dying in the exact same physical place every life. The more times it dies in place, the stronger the ghost becomes. There can be minutes or decades between reincarnations, and when it's not in a physical body, it's a ghost. More times it dies... And I just repeated that, because I forgot that it was on there before. They're like, what? Yep. I said that yesterday, Nightmare. That personality and knowing the face behind the writing is a very, very powerful thing. Beezus, I didn't use social media when I was younger, but so I'm struggling to figure out how to use it now that I'm old. I'm the same way, Beezus. Fuck, man. I created my X account less than a year and a half ago. No, actually more than a year and a half ago. I created it in January 2024. that's when I started using social media. I'm 34. But, like, I barely used... Like, I used Discord for, like, fucking Final Fantasy 11, because my link shell required you to use Discord for, like, the HNM events and, like, endgame events and shit like that. I have a fucking Kraken club. Thank you very much. I mean, what? Smokey's 27, isn't he? I feel like a minor when I talk to you guys sometimes. I'm 25. Yeah, it was funny, because yesterday, Nightmare, I said... Yeah, isn't Beezus a young guy? No, I think that if you're 25, you're a young guy. Like, I mean, at 34, you're still kind of a young guy. You're not quite middle-aged yet. 40s is like middle-aged, but you're getting there. You remembered my age gold sticker for you. I knew someone was 27. Marketing for anything is just like a restaurant. It only works if you choose the right location. People who are already familiar with a restaurant might well follow them to a bad location, but if you start in a bad location, you're boned. There you go, Sean. That's a great way to say it. Literally, the advice that he gave in the marketing one, where it was like, go onto Google, find out what companies do reviews for books, and send your manuscript to those companies, and they'll do reviews on your book. So it's like, instead of waiting for the reviews to come to you, you go to the reviews. I'm like, fucking, of course, five-head fucking idea, of course, there's tons of companies out there that write reviews on behalf of people for products. Yo, Scotty, Shah asked me to ask you to check your Discord DM. Video reviews from actual readers. Get video reviews. I'm not sure what you mean by video reviews. Oh, you said DMs. I was checking the, Oh, I see. I was checking there. Scotty, formally welcoming you to our community. I'm Shamir, founder and creative director of AdWolf. I had an idea for a collaboration after... I don't know if I should be reading this out loud. That was just kind of automatic. But there's no sensitive information in here. So I had an idea for a collaboration. If you're looking for at your work, do you let me know whenever you're available for a quick chat. Video reviews are either TikToks or YouTube videos, I assume, going over it. That's what I was thinking, Beezus, but I mean, like, how do you get third-party people to do that? Your readers record themselves talking about your book, creates trustability on TikTok and Instagram. Oh, so you guys would put your own things, so you guys would each need a TikTok account. You would need a place to put that. Or would you give me your videos of your reviews, like, through Discord, and then I put them on my TikTok and my YouTube, so when people see, they see other people reviewing my book in person. Is that what you're talking about? Because now it's kind of, I feel like it's coming together in my head. And, like, I wish you hadn't said anything, Nightmare, because I really want to talk to Sha. But I'm gonna have to put that on the back burner for now. We gotta get through this video.
pokes up their hand and is like, what are your writing habits? Or when do you write? Or what sort of desk do you write on? Or what sort of pencil do you write with? And all these kind of naive questions about habits and stuff come from the belief that they think if they just know this professional author's routine, that they'll be able to mimic that and become a professional writer themselves. But look, just find out what works for you, right? It might be morning writing, it might be night writing, it might be afternoon.
That man doesn't sleep. A fucking robot. I barely sleep. Like, I sleep between like 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. So 3 hours? 8, 9. Yeah, about 3 to 3.5 hours a day. Yup. 3 hours on a good day, yeah. Well, I mean, like yesterday we worked early. Like, not after the stream today, but tomorrow, again, we work early. So it's like, if I stop the stream at 5 o'clock, I will be lying in bed at 7:30. Because I have to eat, edit, post, like, organize the after stream stuff, get all of the notes and everything set up, and then I can, like, fuck around. And normally I'm trying to, like, support two creators at the same time as doing that. That's why you're fried? Well, I'm also smoking weed all the time. Yeah, I used to sleep 3 to 5 hours a day when I was younger, and it broke my brain. Unfortunately, we are really much getting to that point. That is why I am taking time off work. To kind of reset and reorient myself. But that doesn't mean we're going to sleep more. It just means we're going to be more productive. And we're not going to be standing and fucking things. We're not going to, you know, smoking weed makes you baked, not fried. They're the same thing, Sean. Baked is just a different level of fried.
Writing. I might be writing in the middle of the night writing. It might be being a pantser. It might be being a plotter. It might be linear writing versus jumping around from scene to scene to scene. I think a better approach is to track your own habits.
Breaded. True, Deja. Breaded. I like that. It's like I've got a shield around me that prevents me from, like, seeing anything. I'm trapped in, like, a fucking cocoon. And nothing, I can't see anything, I can't hear it. No wonder I can't read, guys. Fuck! What is this? Bullshit. And then they're gonna dip me in deep fry oil? Oh no, I'm going in an air fryer. Oh, it'll be like a sauna in there, guys. It'll be great. No, they aren't. Baked is healthier. Fried uses toxic oils like diesel for the bus you ride. No, Sean. Fried nowadays is air fryers. Air fryers are they're basically the same as bake. They're basically just miniature ovens. But you don't say bake. You say fried. But bake is usually reserved for sweets. Fried is usually reserved for food. But we've gotten way off topic.
Over a period of a couple weeks or even a couple of months and see what works best for you. When do you work best? When do you create your best work? And then create goals around that time period. For instance, you could create a goal that every single morning at 6 a.m. you're going to write. You're going to write from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. You guys have probably heard of Mary Higgins Clark. She is one of the greatest suspense writers ever. And after her husband died and she was widowed, she was left with 5 kids to care for. And she decided, oh, I want to try my hand at writing books.
Is that why you smile with your forehead? Exactly, right? Like, you gotta do like the Asman eyebrows, like. It's hard with the glasses, though. It's definitely there. If you get fries from any restaurant, that's fried in oil, though you are correct, an air fryer is just a mini convection oven. Yes. I don't go to restaurants, though, Sean. I don't spend money.
Single parent of 5 children. How in the world do you find time to write? Well, she made a habit of writing every single day from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. And then in terms of sales, she went on to have one of the most successful writing careers in American history. A seventh mistake some writers make is that they set too many...
That's me, guys. This is me. But the way that I work... I've said this before. The way that I work is I set a certain amount of time. I say, okay, I have an hour to do this. And then I'll pick something to do that takes an hour. And then I'll do it. And then I'll do it so much that it now takes 10 minutes instead of an hour. So instead of doing things for 10 minutes, I still always do things for an hour. So, whatever now I can squeeze in, I do that for the rest of the hour. And then, eventually, you've gotten so good at cutting corners and figuring things out and being fucking speedy at shit, you could now do 8 or 9 different things in that hour. And it's like the more things that you can compact down into doing in that hour, the better. Right? Instead of saying, oh, I need to do all of these daily quests. I say, I have an hour to do as many daily quests as I can, whichever ones I prioritize and whichever ones I can get done. And then I basically have all the daily quests are always the same because I literally wrote them down. 13 different daily quests that I have to do. Gotta do the stream highlight reel. We gotta do the clips. We gotta go through old clips. We gotta rename clips with clickbait titles. We gotta upload the clips. We gotta create the chapters for the old stories. We still have to do that. Upload the main stories. Then I have to upload Royal Road. Then I have to upload on Kindle. Then I have to upload on Scribble Hub. I do that every day. Except we're not doing it on Royal Road and Scribble Hub because we don't have any more stories. We're done. We caught up with everything. Same with like YouTube. So it's just basically doing clips and stuff like that until we get chiral clones done. So yeah, I set probably too many simultaneous goals, but I don't set them based on the amount that I do. I set them on the amount of time that I can get them done in.
Simultaneous goals. Look, I know you're ambitious, and that's wonderful. I love the ambition. But I think when you're setting goals, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. You want to pick an amount of goals that you think, I can actually pull this off. Sometimes we refer to these as being stretch goals. You're not setting a goal that's so wildly outlandish there's a 0% chance of you're getting it, but you're also not setting a goal that it's really going to be easy to accomplish. You want something that stretches you, but is realistic. Part of that realism is not setting 25 writing goals. You're gonna write a book. You're gonna build a platform. You're gonna post every single day on social media. You're gonna start a newsletter. You're gonna read 50 craft books. You're gonna take 100 writing courses. I love the ambition. I love it, but I think a better approach might be just to do, say, 3 writing goals or 1 main writing goal with a couple of smaller writing goals underneath it. An 8th mistake some writers make when goal setting is terrible reading goals. Yes, you do need reading goals because I feel like reading goals are an essential part of being a writer. You cannot be a good writer without reading a lot of books. So what are some good examples of reading goals? I do think a sheer numerical approach is probably bad, right? Reading 100 books this next year, it's probably not the best approach. Reading 100 books this year, I do think that focuses too much on quantity and not enough on actually learning from what you're reading.
But have you read in the past, Callie? What do you think your accumulated lifetime reading, like, if you had a life stat and one of them was time spent reading books, like actual books, not like just reading things, not reading words, but reading books, how many hours do you think it would be? How about fully comprehending 1 book per month? That's a good idea, Sean. I mean, we do a chapter a day from each of the things, and now that we're reading Choke, we're reading a professional book. So it's like we've got this contrast here, and it definitely creates that thing. That's why having like a book club, I think, would be a good idea, because then it would be other people picking, like, you know, a group consensus kind of sharing of like, oh, what should the next book we read kind of thing. I think it's important to read. I don't read as much as I used to, but I still think it's important. Yeah, I think it's important. I don't read as much as I should. We will be reading more. I want to finish... Actually, let's set a goal right now, guys. I want to actually read the first book of The Wheel of Time by the end of the year. I want to do it off stream. Unless you guys want me to read it on stream. But, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's... I mean, it's just the cliche. It's, it's the standard cliche fantasy, frickin', classic. But it's not Lord of the Rings.
Daily goal would be to read 1 hour a day, but you also don't want this goal to start feeling like homework. You could have a goal like finish 1 book a week. I don't want you to feel like a loser if you start to fall behind and you can't catch up. And then some people come up with really lofty goals like, oh, I'm gonna read 10.
Okay, so I started maybe 25 to 30 books, read like 7 chapters of each, finished like maybe 9. Saying you read a book and saying what you like about a book are different. I can honestly say I read a first chapter of The Dark Tower, but the only part I know about it is that only the opening line stood out to me. The man in black fired into the desert, and the gunslinger fled into the desert.
Classic novels this year. I think that is aspirational rather than strategic. Maybe those classics aren't the books which are going to help you become the better writer.
True.
You don't want to make goals of what you should do rather than coming up with stuff that's going to help you in terms of craft development. So what are some better reading goals for writers? For starters, you should try to be more specific in your reading goals. For instance, saying, I am going to read this one particular author and really study how they work on dialogue. Write down lines of dialogue, my favorite lines of dialogue that they use, and then sort of look at that as a blueprint for how I can write better dialogue. Or maybe what you want to do is break down a single novel and really study how the plot works.
See,
what is the
that's
outline,
exactly what you were saying.
What is the structure of that book? Another good reading goal would be just to try to read slower. For instance, say 1 time a quarter, I am going to reread a book that I read.
My writing mentor, Keith Liggett, insisted I read that book. Even gave me a copy to read. I will admit the first line got me invested in the book, but shortly thereafter, it became a chore and I didn't care anymore. Back again. Wish I wasn't. True Muffin, fuck you, brother. Are you not streaming, bro? What happened?
Before, because I feel like rereading gets you to a deeper analysis of what is working and what isn't working in that book. Another good reading goal would be to try to read broader. Say, try to read outside the genre that you normally read.
What's up, Callie? Did I not read your message? I read your message. What's up, Callie? Yeah, the TTS is broken, by the way. She got all fuckered up. She got all dunded up. Dunded up the fucker, did.
Because you can learn from a variety of different genres, right? You can learn from going to...
So, did the 25 books I read 7 chapters of count? I'm just saying, Callie, like, how many hours do you think that is? Have you read more than 10,000 hours? That's kind of where I was going with that. Have you read more than 10,000 hours? Because I'm pretty sure I haven't.
Plays, you can learn from movies, you can learn from poetry, you can learn from all sorts of different graphic novels. So take whatever inspiration you can from outside sources that aren't your sort of typical genre that you read. And lastly, really think about the application of what you read. For instance, every book that I read, I take notes in the back of the book. So if you turn to the very last page of the book...
Not streaming because I went bouldering. Besides, I need a break after 29 hours. In 3 days. Damn, yeah, that's pretty hard, Muffin. You went pretty fucking hard. Wait, poetry. I read a ton of poetry. There you go, Callie. See? It's not just about reading books. Like what I meant by books was reading. Okay, a better way to say it is reading things. It's not just like reading chat, right? Like reading news. Like think of like. Do you read, like, random stories on Reddit? That's what we used to do. We used to go to Reddit writing, and we used to just read random people's stories. But I'm banned on Reddit, because apparently my story was AI. So I'm banned from the subreddit. Growing up, I read poetry, essays, and articles every day. Yeah, there you go, Callie. See there? You've already got it in you, man. You just got to recall it.
All that white space there, I have covered with notes of things that I noticed about the book, things that I liked about the book, things I can learn about the book, things I can teach from the book. That's what it looks like to read as a writer rather than as a reader. You are gleaning material from that book. You are coming up with stuff that you can use in your own book. And the last mistake that some writers make when setting goals is sticking to their original goals. Look, I admire the perseverance, but sometimes you have to admit, I might have written that goal badly. And halfway through the year, you're like, I am going to recalibrate, right? So try to be flexible in your goal setting and change goals as you go along. So what are some healthier ways to approach goals? One, you have to write them down.
Dang it, I waited to be a writer without reading anything. I pride myself in that, Etox. You ruined it! You always gotta find the origin, Callie. It'll give you more inspiration. Why do you think cats like scratches? My thought is that they're just itchy. Because my cats always push their ears to my hand, which they struggle to scratch sometimes. Muffin, did you know if you push their ears back and like fold their ears back like that? Oh, I guess you guys can't see, but like if these are the ears, right? You fold them back. I guess it's really hard to see, but that moves the wax around in their ears and loosens it up. So it's like popping in their ears when it does. So it's like a relieving feeling for it. And it's especially on the back because of like shedding and stuff like that. So like areas that they can't necessarily reach, just makes them look like an idiot, which they are. True, Muffin.
Right? A goal isn't a goal unless you have a list somewhere of the goals. And that will allow you to be flexible and change them if necessary. And cross off that last one and rewrite it halfway through the year if it's not working for you. My recommendation also would be to check your goals once a month. Once a month, you should revisit them and say, what was I thinking at the beginning of the year? Was I crazy? Maybe. I don't know. But you have to revisit
we've
and
kept
say,
to
okay,
it.
how am I doing on these? What is the progress I've made over this last month? It is essential.
And I even was like, I want to take a hiatus from work. That's been settled.
500 words yesterday.
Nice, Callie. Hell yeah. That's what we're talking about.
Well, that you get some sort of accountability. You need
I got
some
dementia.
kind of friend
Do you
in
have a
your
cat?
life. They don't.
I have a cat, Muffin, yes. Her name is Daisy. Can we read the chapter I edited? Yes, Callie. Just pop it in the Discord, bro.
Have to be a writer where you tell them, okay, this is what I'm going to do this year. Can you hold me accountable? Ask me in a month or 2 or 6 months, hey, how's that goal coming? And you know that there's going to be pressure if that friend's going to ask you, so you're more likely to stick with those goals. And lastly, I'd love to hear what your top writing goal is for the next year. Please leave it in the comments so other people can be inspired by you and so I can see all the good work that you guys are doing.
Hell yeah.